Okay, it's time to talk about a 2019 book to film challenge book with Witness for the Prosecution. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you some thoughts on Agatha Christie's Witness for the Prosecution. This was my March selection for my book to film challenge for the year. I thought I would put it in March because it is, of course, March Mystery Madness in March, so this fits quite perfectly because it's Agatha Christie. This is actually a short story, and I try and add that in the mix if I can, just to make the year have some, have some easier months, if you will. And so this was actually only 28 pages long. It was published in 1948, and the status of the film is announced, and that was as of 2017, and there isn't any further information other than it being simply announced. So yeah, let's start with the book. What is it about? So this is a mystery, so I can't say too much, but it is a mystery that, as you can probably guess, falls a lot on a witness for the prosecution. There is a man who is accused of a murder, and it's about whether or not the witness is credible or if they can find a credible witness, and that's sort of the theme of the story. But It was a little different than I expected, actually, but that's good when it comes to mysteries. Like, that's good. The themes of this, that's a question I have. I don't know if there's too many themes that I can go into about this. This is very much about the plot, but I guess credibility is a theme in this one. Trust is a theme in this one. Who do you trust? Do you trust the characters? Does it matter if the person's guilty or not, or whether or not simply that there is proof to support or deny said things? I think those are the themes that are not only that they deal with here. And then, of course, did I like it? I would come down on saying, yeah, I did like it. I thought it was a good story. I enjoyed it. I think it was good at 28 pages. I don't think I would want to read a whole book. Mysteries are a genre that I don't read a lot of, so for me this was a very good bite-sized story. I felt like the themes were clear, I felt like the plot was clear, and I did like the resolve, and I wasn't expecting it, and that's always good, but it was still believable, which is even better. So I think like all of those things ended up being really interesting and engaging, so for me it totally worked, and I'm really happy that I picked it. I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10. So I thought it was good, like 4 stars. I didn't think it was excellent or perfect. Well, maybe I don't know. I've read some Agatha Christie that did feel perfect. Like, and then were none. To me, that's perfect. Like, absolutely perfect. This I thought was good. I don't know if I would change anything about it, but I still thought it was good. But with being a short story, there was only so much involved in it. But I thought it matched, like what we got matched the length of the story. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. In terms of the film, what is the information on the film? There isn't tons of information on it yet. It is being directed by Ben Affleck, who will also star in it. For me, there's a little bit of a there, because obviously the star witness for the prosecution is a woman, and so far we only have information about a man. I don't know who Ben Affleck is going to play in this. There's several players. We have a lawyer, we have an accused man, and then we have some potential witness, including the sort of star witness, which is a woman. And so obviously Ben Affleck, I would imagine, will either play the lawyer or the accused man. But that's a guesstimation, because there isn't more information about it and that. And the description for the film is: a veteran lawyer must defend a man in what promises to be the most dramatic trial of his career. Okay, so that feels like the focus is on the lawyer, which would make me think that Ben Affleck is going to play the lawyer. But again, that's just an educated guess. There's nothing to support that. I do think there's some challenges with this, with the story. I can't actually really get into them without any spoilers. And I think it'll be interesting to see what they do in terms of if they change the story or if they get really clever. I don't know about that because it is a mystery, so I can't say what I'm not going to say what the reveals are. And so it'll be interesting to see if it is um, how they deal with the mystery element in this one. I am looking forward to it. I think mostly because it is a well-told story. And so like I'm actually a little concerned with this whole promises to be the most dramatic trial of his career. So that feels like they're gonna like of course this is becoming a short story becoming a film, so they're going to flesh out the story. It's going to be a longer story, but taking the focus to be the lawyer feels to me a bit strange. But maybe that is some deception that's smart for storytelling. I'm not sure. I don't know if they're going to add in additional characters, additional routes for us to follow in terms of possibilities of other possibilities of resolves. I don't imagine that they'll change the resolve, which is one of the reasons why I don't always include mysteries and thrillers on my book to film challenge, because when I watch the movies, I don't want to know, like, I want to know how they're going to interpret the story, but if they stay very true to the story, which I think in every other genre I love, but with mysteries and thrillers, I feel like if you know the whole story, then it's just about how the story is being told. And for me, that's not always enough to be entertaining enough. I want there to be more. Not saying that they have to change it, but I just feel like with mysteries and thrillers, so much relies on the plot. And when you know the plot, then I feel like it's seeing it play out, but it's different than when you see, say, like a science fiction or a fantasy film being interpreted. How is the world interpreted? How are the characters interpreted? This one, I can't see that much deviation from the original story, other than like adding more characters or adding more like adding things that won't end up to anything. So I feel like there's actually, I don't know, like I always have the question of, is this a good choice for an adaptation? And I wonder if that's the case. Like I think Agatha Christie's work, from the ones that I have read, which isn't a huge amount, but it is several, I think like the story and the reveals and the characters are always very engaging and interesting to see on the screen. And this does have all of those elements, so it definitely could be a good choice for adaptation. I'm just concerned about the focus so far of the description being so much on the lawyer. I'm not a huge fan of legal dramas. I like them occasionally. There are lots of really good ones. So it can be. It's just, if it's, is it more about the lawyer? What's the lawyer going to do? I didn't feel like the lawyer played a huge part in this story, to be honest. So I am not sure. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. I read this in March, and as I mentioned, we don't have more information about the adaptation. There is an earlier adaptation. There's a 1957 film version directed by Billy Wilder that stars Tyrone Power, Charles Laughton, and Marlene Dietrich. I know what I'm watching this weekend. I'll probably have seen it by the time this video goes up, but Marlene Dietrich. Now that gets me excited. So maybe that's the thing I need to wait for the film. Who are the other cast members involved in this? Because that could definitely play a part in terms of the excitement level. Because one of the things with a really good story is if you have a great set of actors, then that makes all the difference. If it's going to be more like lots of misdirection and tension and thrillery stuff, that can be good too. But if it's coming down to like a really tight story, you need some really stellar actors to make that happen. So I'm actually now really excited about watching the 1957 version. If you've seen that version, let me know your thoughts on that. And I will keep my eye on this version, the upcoming version of Witness for the Prosecution. That'll be sometime later than 2019, likely, because we haven't heard anything as of April 2019 any more than actor and director. And that was intentional this year. This year I did want to cast a far forward net in terms of the books that I was reading that were being adapted. So picking stuff that's still in the announcement stage is totally fine with me. Now I get to enjoy as more and more information will become available about the film over time. I will leave links down below to both the IMDb page for the film and the Letterboxd page for the film, neither of which have tons of information. I think Letterboxd has a bit more, but hopefully over time we will get to hear and see more about the adaptation. My April choice for a book to film challenge this year is going to be Sailor Girl by Sherry Lee Olsen. This is a Canadian book that is set on the Great Lakes about an art student who decides to work on boats on the Great Lakes. I'm really looking forward to it, and I don't know much about it, but I can't wait to start it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So there you go. That is Witness for the Prosecution. Looking forward to hearing and seeing more as information comes out, and on to the next book. Thank you so much for watching.